Hey, One World Entertainment and James Bond. As we know, they are currently looking for the next person to play 007. And Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson gave an update as to what their search is all about. And one part of it, of course, was, of course, you're going to throw that in there and makes us all roll our eyes. But since they made their announcement of what they're looking for and what type of person they're looking for, well, the fans have taken to social media to let their feelings be known and who they want. And it is none other than Henry Cavill. And apparently Cavill started to even trend on social media over this. So let's have a look at this, because this is wild. So it says, we are still waiting to find out which actor will be chosen to take over the mantle of James Bond from Daniel Craig, but fans already know who they want to see slip into the iconic tuxedo. A recent casting update revealed that producers Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson are looking to give the role to a man in his 30s. Whiteness is not a given, so i.e. he doesn't need to be a white guy, who is committed to a decade of 007 adventures. Following the update, fans of the beloved action franchise have taken to social media to make their feelings clear. They want Man of Steel star Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is the only correct answer here. How is this not obvious to them? Said one ex-user, with another adding, we want Henry Cavill as the next Bond. Another fan of The Witcher star thinks Henry Cavill was born to play Bond, and they are far from the only ones who think so, with Cavill trending quickly following the latest insight into the casting of the next 007. Unfortunately, there is the slight issue of Cavill being 41 years old, and thus outside the man in his 30s. However, Matless3 is hoping this won't matter, saying he may be 2 years outside the range they want, at 41 instead of in his 30s. But I also agree with many others that Henry Cavill seems the best choice. And of course, he is probably the best choice, but of course, they probably won't give it to him. In fact, the fact that they have gone out of their way to make sure that they said the actor who we're looking for doesn't need to be white. They may as well just put up in great big neon lights, no white man need apply, because we know that's the direction they're going to go in. And people are going to get angry hearing us all say this and kind of push back going, what a stupid idea, and go, well, you're all just racist and blah blah blah. Get over yourselves, because the fact of the matter is the character is a white guy. End of story. That is who James Bond is. That's who he was written as. That is what he is. Soon as you change that, it's not James Bond. It's the same with Batman, it's the same with any character who has a specific identity when they were created. You change that, they're no longer that person. Again, that goes for any character. You change Shaft to being white, it's no longer Shaft. Doesn't matter how much you try and say, oh no it is, look, we're staying true to what Shaft's story was. Doesn't matter. Shaft's not white, he's a black guy. Doesn't work. He put a white person in there. It's not Shaft. It's the exact same thing with this. You want to throw a black guy in, it's no longer James Bond, because that's not who James Bond is. That's not who he was written as. That is the only issue I truly have with Henry Cavill taking over as James Bond. I would love to see him as Bond, but unfortunately, the way Bond is being made now, in the modern age, if you like, we just know what they're doing with it. They're making him basically a soy cock. That's all he is at this stage. I mean, look at how the movie ended. Daniel Craig stood there and let the bombs rain down on him. Why? Because he couldn't touch his wife or kid. Not the matter of fact that, oh, you could actually still see them. You just can't touch them, but you can see them. You could still make sure that they're safe. But no, instead he just goes, I'm just going to stand here and die. It's like, how stupid is it? Not to mention that it was, what was it, nanites or something in his blood system. All the while he's wearing an EMP watch. Yeah, here's an idea. Why didn't you just activate the watch and kill the bloody things in your blood system? Like, that's how stupid it was. And of course, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was in there to bring him into the modern age, to put, as she said, James Bond in the Me Too era. Well, nuts to that. Bond needs to be a drinking man, a man with a license to kill, a womanizer, and just an all-round man's man, badass. The guy that every man wants to be and every woman wants to be with. That's who James Bond is. If that offends you, if you're offended by that, go watch something else. As yous all like to constantly say, this is to all them freaks who are like, oh, it must be this and it must be that. It's not made for you. It's not what yous like to tell all of us. Not everything is made for you. Well then, this is going to be one of those things that isn't made for you. It's made for all of us and everyone else who's been watching this thing since the 60s. So there's the door. Off you toddle. Go watch something else. James Bond needs to be Ian Fleming's James Bond, not Barbara Broccoli's and Michael G. Wilson's version of James Bond. So Henry Cavill should absolutely 100% be the next James Bond, but we know it's not going to be. It'll probably be fucking Ncuti Gatwa for all we know at this stage. God only knows, and God help us for whoever they choose. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.